First, have a look at how it is possible to create mock objects. See here the system under test with a painter template class that uses the turtle-based programming known from the Logo programming language, and the rest of the code is for the registering test cases. We use Qt, our unit testing framework of choice. So let's start by injecting a test double into the system under test by its template parameter t. So I instantiate the template. Now, as you see, we have here a marker that says comparison fake turtle cannot be resolved. So I create one with the help of Mockator. Struct is fine. Then the next step is to instantiate this. The next step is to call a member function on the system under test. And now Mockator recognizes that member functions are missing in this local class because the system under test calls forward and right member functions on it. So I use the quick fix, and then I can choose to create plain member functions that will be useful when we just need fake objects, and record calls that's for creating mock objects for registering the calls the system under test makes on the injected test double. We could choose to specify the function order for the expectations or the arguments. So in this case we use the function arguments and apply the quick fix. As you see, quite a lot of code is generated, and we have the possibility here to specify our expectations. We have linked mode where we could just specify the argument values. So forward would be our 42, then the angle would be 90, and here we could choose the different kinds of assertions we use: assert equal. So let's have a look at the code that is created here. As you see, there's quite a lot of code that is needed for registering the function calls. Every function registers itself here with its signature and its arguments, which is then used in the assert equal as the actual calls, and the expectations we specify here with the new initializer list syntax for C++11. Yeah, that's basically it. Mockator also creates an include for our header only mock object library. So if we compile this and execute it with Qt, we currently get a red bar, and let's see why. Here we see the expected traces, and here the actual traces. And the actual traces, as you see, the system under test makes another forward call that we haven't specified with Mockator. This is done here. So we add another expectation here. And now we have a green bar. Note that this uses exact comparisons on the actual value. It's also possible with Mockator to ignore the argument values at all. Then we would just remove the arguments here and in the expectations. We could also specify regular expressions for our expectations. Then we would use the or search matches macro that we have seen before in the linked edit. And yeah, the code that is created here is for C++11 for the new standard. In Mockator is also able to generate code for the old standard, and we will just change the setting here, and we have a few other settings that we do not care for now. So note that we have used a compile theme here. We could also do this with an object theme that would use inheritance, that was discussed in my last screencast about refactoring towards themes. So if you haven't seen that, it would be probably a good idea. So that was how basic mock objects work with Mockator.